Hello and welcome. In today's video, I am going to be showing you a delicious and fabulous recipe. It is super easy to make. It is farmer's cheese, and you only need a few ingredients, especially milk. And for this particular recipe, we're going to be using whole milk. Make sure that your milk is not fat-free or reduced fat. I'll be using raw milk from a local farm. If you have access to raw milk, it's even better because the curds will be larger and even more substantial. And I'll also be posting the ingredients in the description below. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with others. Let's jump right into the recipe. I had 2 extra gallons of milk, and so I'll be making 2 different batches. I have a large pot with a strainer, and I'll be using a cheesecloth to strain the whey and keep the curds in order to make the cheese. I'll be using 2 pieces of cheesecloth because I'll be making 2 different batches, and I'm also going to be using 1 extra pot and strainer. Just ensure that you position the cheesecloth in the center. And here are the 2 pots on the stove. You don't have to use 2 gallons of milk. I'm using 2 because I had 2 extra gallons left. And I'm also going to show you 2 different recipes for 2 flavored cheese. It's better to have the milk at room temperature. The stove should be on medium-low. I prefer to use a wooden spoon, and we're going to very gradually bring the milk up in temperature. You need to be stirring it very frequently. I would say as much as possible, to avoid the milk from sticking to the bottom and burning. We will not boil the milk, but we'll bring it to the point in which it is almost about to start boiling, between 190 to 195 degrees Fahrenheit. You can use a thermometer or wait until just before tiny bubbles begin to form. In order to separate the curds from the whey, we're going to need to add either lemon juice or vinegar. I'm going to do both since I have 2 batches to show you the difference. At this point, the milk is almost at temperature, so I'm going to be turning off the stove and then add the vinegar to this particular pot. Slowly and gradually add half a cup of white distilled vinegar and keep stirring it while you add the vinegar. After you finish doing this, remove the pot from the stove and set it aside and let it rest for at least 15 minutes. And I highly recommend rinsing and cleaning the wooden spoon as soon as possible because once the curds dry out, it's gonna be very difficult to clean. And here is my second batch, which is at the right temperature. I just turned off the stove and very gradually I'm adding half a cup of lemon juice. Remove it from the heating element of the stove and let it rest for about 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, I'm going to strain my first batch. Please be extremely careful as this is very hot. And again, just as you did with a wooden spoon, rinse the pot as quickly as you can. I'm going to let it cool down and drain for about 30 to 45 minutes. After about 45 minutes, I'm going to grab the 4 corners and I'm going to be squeezing some of the whey out. Please be extremely careful as the whey is still very hot. Some people like to let it drain overnight, but I don't like to do that. And the reason is because farmer's cheese tend to be very dry, and I don't like it too dry. Now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of salt, and I'm using sea salt. As I add the salt, gradually I'm going to be mixing it with my wooden spoon. It's very important that you mix it really well to avoid having pieces of curd that have more salt than others. I personally like to use a glass container as a mold, and I'm going to be adding the curds little by little. Press it firmly as you add the curds to the mold. After I'm done, I'm gonna cover it with a lid. Next, I'll place it in the refrigerator to let it cool down completely for at least 2 to 3 hours. I'm going to rinse my cheesecloth really well, and then I'm going to strain my next batch, and this is the one with the lemon juice. Again, please be extremely careful as the whey is very hot. And again, we're going to let it rest for about 30 to 45 minutes before squeezing the whey. And this batch, I'm gonna make it a little bit different and fun. After I add the 1 tablespoon of salt and mix it gradually, I'm going to be adding 1 teaspoon of dry cilantro and 1 teaspoon of dry basil. But you can be creative and add your favorite herbs or your favorite seasoning. Some people like to have chives in their cheese. And again, mix it very well. Now I'm going to transfer the curds to my glass container. And don't forget to press it gently but firmly. And just as I did with my previous cheese, I'm going to cover it with a lid and place it in the refrigerator. And please don't throw away the whey. You can make a lot of things with it. I like to make a lot of vegetable soups and creams and sauces, and if you have chickens, you can add a little bit to their water. Also, this has a very good use in the garden. It's been about 2 hours and I'm going to be removing my cheese from the mold. I'm using a knife to scrape off the edges. Please know that this cheese is not as solid as some other cheeses. It's a little bit crumbly, but it's delicious and goes really well as an appetizer or just simply as a snack. And this is the cheese with the herbs. The smell of this cheese is amazing, and the taste is even better. And I want to show you the texture. For me, it's super delicious, and you will impress your friends when they see that you can make a delicious cheese. And this is a platter that I like to create when we have company, or you can just eat it yourself with your family. I wish you could taste this. It is so delicious. And there you have it. I'd like to know if you have made farmer's cheese before and what ingredients you use. Don't hesitate to leave me your comments below. And thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe and share this video. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful and very blessed day.